Hey, how's it going out there today, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great day. Coming to you today for the weekly recap. For you guys that don't know, I'm leased to an 80-20 split carrier. I go over my numbers every week. I don't skip weeks. Some weeks I'm behind. I'm probably 2-3 weeks behind right now. I try to stay, 1 to 2 weeks behind, just, to kind of keep it fresh, but not, letting everybody know where I'm at. So I don't talk about the carrier I'm leased to. I suggest you find yourself a good 80-20 or whatever percentage split carrier that works for you. Do your own research. I merely do this to go over the numbers to help people that want to put together a budget of being an owner-operator. And, don't just take it from me, gather from some other sources. I do run pretty hard. I typically go Minnesota, out, and back. The way that works is, out 1,000, 15, maybe even 1,700 miles, and then back to Minnesota, out and back. That's typically how I do it. So I'm typically home like every other week. Sometimes if freight's paying really good or they got something they need done, I'll stay out a little longer, but typically 12 to 10 days is kind of my max. I'm ready to go home after that. So let's get to it. At the end, you will hear me talk about this is the money I have left to do what I have to do with. At that point, you want to plug in your fixed costs. I go over my variable costs. I know there's a lot of variation in variable costs, but I do run a kind of fuel-efficient operation here. I got a 2016 Cascadia, and, so you can kind of keep that. If you're going to get a truck like that, an aerodynamic truck, you'll probably burn similar amount of fuel as I do. Let's see what else. Put your own fixed cost in after I say this is left, what I have left to do, what I have to do with. That's where you would come in and plug in your fixed cost. I don't plug those in because everybody's are so different. Your insurance is going to be so different than mine, and I don't have a truck payment anymore. But when I did, I was paying like $2,400 a month on the truck just to hurry up and get it paid off. So a lot of variations in there. So let's get on with it. This is the first full week of the year right here. So this is after I came back from New Year's vacation. I went home, took some time off for New Year's. This is my first week back after that. So I live in Minnesota, so I was coming out of Minnesota. I did headed over to Clear Lake, Wisconsin. I keep wanting to say Clear Lake, Iowa, or Clear Lake, Minnesota. I think there's a Clear Lake in every one of those states up there. Clear Lake, Wisconsin. Grabbed a load down to Laverne, Tennessee, into the Middle Tennessee area there, just southeast of Nashville. 36 degrees, 40,000 pounds. 80-mile deadhead, 845 on the loaded for a total 925 on that one. That load paid $5,200, so that was a really good load. And then it was a really quick load too. That was a 2-day load, so to make 5,200 in 2 days, I knew we were shaping up for a good week. And I was like, well, if I come straight back to Minnesota, it's going to be a good week, but it's going to be a really short week. And after just taking off 3 days, I was kind of like, planning out loads and thinking about stuff. I was like, well, let's see if we can get back to Minnesota and get another $5,000 load. And so next load I picked up was out of Kentucky, 41,000 pound dry load I picked up there. That was coming back up to Minnesota. And that 79 miles of deadhead on that, 772 on the loaded, 851 total miles, and that load paid $2,000 even. And then I brought that back up to Minnesota. Super cold that week in Minnesota. I spent one night at the Minnesota-Iowa line coming back up from Kentucky in that way. And it was crazy. It was like negative 15 or something. So a lot of idling. It's just it's that time of year. So that brought me back up to Minnesota, and then I do these loads kind of regular. Minnesota over to New York, not New York City, like upstate New York. And I do those pretty regular. They are paying like way better than they ever have before. It's just where we're at, right? 34 degrees, 42,000 pounds, 1189 on the loaded on that, and 67 on the deadhead. I don't know if I said it, 42,000 pounds, 1,256 all-in miles. That load paid $7,000. Normally, like 2 years ago, those loads were paying like $4,000, and I was damn happy to get them at $4,000. So the fact that they're paying $7,000 now shows you, where we're at with inflation and all. The highest grossing week I've ever had, $14,200. $14,200. I had a 13.8 was my last highest, so 14.2, new record here, new record. 3 loads. Typically when I do 3 loads in a week, it's pretty damn good. So $14,200, and let's see, my cut of that, my 80% was $11,360, $11,360. That was 3,032 miles, all in miles, every mile the truck turned, 3,032, and 226 of that was deadhead. So 8% deadhead. That's well within my normal, what I consider normal. 2,806 loaded miles. That is $4.68 a mile for all miles. Every mile the truck turned, it paid $4.68. My 80% is $3.74 all miles, and the loaded mile, get this, $5.06 a mile on a loaded mile. Whoo! Now, I only tell you that to tell you what the rates are, because all miles count. You know what I mean? Every mile you run has got to be factored in. So let's get to the variable cost. Horrible fuel economy. Horrible fuel economy. I think at one point I was averaging like 4.8 miles per gallon. And here's how it went. I stopped, I got fuel about 100 miles before I shut down. I shut down that night, it was negative 15, so the truck ran at high idle all night. I got up the next morning, I was getting like 4.8 miles a gallon, so it was really all the idling that killed this week. I had 2 nights where I had to idle overnight because we were in negative temperatures. And, I got a bunk heater. I'll take that bunk heater down to like, 5 degrees, 0 degrees, and I can live with it. But when we start getting into negative temperatures, I don't want gelling issues, stuff like that. That's another reason I was getting horrible fuel economy. I bought treated fuel, and then I put anti-gel on top of that. By the way, while I got you here and I'm talking about that, if you're not a subscriber, think about subscribing. I got an anti-gel video coming out probably in the next week or two. So if you want to see that, make sure to subscribe, click that bell. If you made it this far, hit that thumbs up. So let's get to these variable costs. Some of the, probably the highest week of buying fuel I've had, maybe, I won't say ever, because, I used to have a truck that got about 6 miles a gallon, and I used to run hell out of that truck, and fuel used to be like, like it is now, like $3.80 a gallon. So I probably spent more, but this is one of my highest weeks ever on fuel. $16.88 on diesel. Ouch. And that's with the Mudflap discounts. I was coming across Ohio, Indiana yesterday. We're talking like $3.45 a gallon after discount right now. So we're all over $4 a gallon pump price. It's just where we're at, but luckily freight rates paying so good. Who cares about, fuel being $4 a gallon when you're getting, $5 a mile on freight, right? I think I finished out the week at probably like 6.3, 6.4 on fuel economy for the week, so it bounced back a little bit, Now, the load I took from Minnesota out to New York, you know, I didn't have to put anti-gel in on the way out because the weather got better. So that helped a lot. But $16.88 on a week of buying diesel is a lot for me. It really is. So $16.88 diesel, $67 in reefer, $46 in DEF. DEF just keeps going up in price, but you know, it's the cost of doing business. It's like less than $50 a week still for me, so I don't stress it too much. $39 in scales. I scaled all 3 loads, 40,000 pounds, 41,000 pounds, and 42,000 pounds. Another reason this week was hard on fuel was because of that. They were all heavy loads and they were all liquid. All of them were liquid. The first load was sauce, like jars of sauce. The second load was detergent in like really big containers, like 3-gallon containers. Man, that load I could really feel moving in the trailer. And the last load was milk. So yeah, every load was heavy and every load was liquid. So that hurt your fuel economy. I paid $84 in tolls, and I paid $15 to park one night. So that's what it is. Variable cost $1,939, 1939. Man, that's a lot of variable costs for me. I remember this time last year when fuel was like, you know, like $2.50 a gallon. You know, maybe last summer. I remember, yeah, it probably would have been about this time last year, maybe a little bit before that. But yeah, my variable cost on a 3,000 mile week would have been like, I don't know, especially in the summer, would have been like, you know, $1,200. So paying a few extra dollars, but it's being made up for with the additional income. You know, revenue cures all. You know, I used to say when I had my other business, you know, like you just need revenue. You need revenue. You can sort it out as long as, you know, obviously you're not spending more not spending more expenses than you have in revenue, but as long as you got a good revenue, you can overcome some, you know, hiccups and stuff. So that's a pretty good one. But here's the breakdown on the week. 11,360, that's my 80%, minus $1,939 in variable cost, leaves me $9,421, $94.21 to do what I have to do with. Yeah, I could use a few weeks like that. I mean, you know, after variable expenses, to, you know, be able to take $9,421 and do what I got to do with, it's fantastic. It is. You know, so for the people out there, and I want to put a little disclaimer in here at the end for the people that stuck around this far. I don't put these numbers out to brag. I've said it before. I do it to just merely educate, to show you what, you know, one average owner-operator makes. You could run harder than me, you could run less than me, but, you know, I figure this is about an average, you know, because I am motivated to work, but at the same time, you know, a lot of guys, you know, with a paid off truck and a little bit of insurance, I'm really not into it a whole lot, you know. So, you know, I mean, honestly, 1 week like that, you know, most people could take off the whole rest of the month if they wanted to. But it's kind of average for me. If you notice here lately, since I paid off my truck, I kind of been like an extra day at the house, basically. That's kind of my reward for paying off the truck, is when I go home, like every 10 to 12 days, instead of staying home 2 to 3 days, I'm staying home 3 to 4 days now. It's like, you know, so I'll have a week, like, not as good as that one, obviously, average, because that was my best week ever, but, you know, I'll have like a $9,000 week gross, and then my next will be like $5,000, because I took half that week off. And I'm pretty happy with that. I can live with that. So I see people in my comments section sometimes. I had a guy earlier this week say, you know, trucking's just full of lies. It's all scams, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if he was referring to my numbers because I had made like 5,000. It wasn't even really a good week. It was like 5,200 gross for the week. You know, and the guy was like, I don't know if he was referring to what I was saying was lies or just trucking in general is lies, but he basically said, trucking's lies. Don't get your CDL. It's horrible. It's a waste of time. Dude, that's not even the way trucking is. If you put some time and some effort into trucking, it's sacrifice being out on the road. I'm not gonna deny that. You know, we can't dodge the main bullet of why we're making the money we're making. It's because we're sacrificing our life to be on the road. That's the way it is. So if you're willing to sacrifice a little bit, you can definitely move up in life financially. I mean, it's just it's pretty obvious out here. You know, I see company jobs in my Craigslist job search videos all the time that are, you know, saying $75,000. You know, was it Leonard Express? You know, they got a trucking school. They're starting people out at 50 cents a mile after they come out of trucking school. I'm not recommending it. Do your own research. I'm just putting it out there. But you got companies like that. You know, that's a guy that could, you know, make easily $1,500 a week. You know, I don't know. With a guy with a GED and taking a 3-week trucking course, that's pretty damn good money. Let's be honest with you. $75,000 a year. You know, $1,500 a week. It's pretty darn good. You know, you get a little experience in, and it only goes up from there. You know, I feel like a lot of trucking is like $65,000 to $75,000 a year starting pay these days. You know, get yourself a year of experience and a tanker endorsement and a hazmat endorsement, and keep your record clean. And you know, a hazmat tanker guy local, you can be home every night making $100,000. I mean, is trucking that bad? You know, I feel like it's perspective. You know, my advice to the new people out there, if you're getting into trucking and you're watching this, you know, understand that the money I make is not like, it's not like anyone can't do it, but I've put in a lot of time and effort in refining it. So if you don't make the same money I make in your first year, just understand, like, you're at the entry level. I've had a CDL since 2006. You know, like, I've been refining this since I walked through the door. I mean, and honestly, trucking's such a quick money producer. Like I say, a 3-week training course. There's guys out there that probably got 3 months of experience, and they save up their money, they make the right moves, they find a carrier, they get a truck, and, you know, 6 months to a year in, they're an owner-operator, and they're making this kind of money a year in, you know? Like, is it always like this? No. Trucking's not always this kind of money. Sometimes you actually have to know how to run a business to make money in trucking. But right now, no effort. You know, guys out here just doing the dumbest things ever and still making tons of money. It makes, you know, and I'm happy for them, because at the end of the day, they're making great money while they learn. So right now is a great time to get into trucking. I keep telling people this. Don't let the negativity get to you. And what I say to the new people, my recommendation to you is, you know, don't let it get to you right off the bat. You know, you got to be positive in life to get anywhere. You know, a negative attitude, I don't care if you were born with a $10 million bank account. If you got a negative mindset, you're never going to enjoy life. You could have all the blessings in the world, and if you ain't in control of this up here, it's not going to mean anything. I've seen some of the poorest, just people that had rough lives, but man, they are just happy as they can be. And it's like, they control this. You know, that's the key. Get control of your mind. Get control of that. And you know, a lot of other things will fall in line if you do that. So stick with trucking for 6 months if you're new at it. If you're 6 months in and it ain't for you, it ain't for you. But at least give it 6 months. And if you don't like OTR, that's the beauty of trucking these days. If you live anywhere near a metropolitan area, get you a local job. Check out my Craigslist job search videos. Shameless plug. There it is. Shameless plug. Most of the time, once a week, I pick a city. I go through the Craigslist job search. I give you my opinion, my experienced opinion of the trucking companies and their pay and what they say. So check that out if you're new, because I just got done with one a couple days ago, and they're talking like jobs where you can be home every weekend and make like $100,000 a year and be home every weekend. I mean, that is a good way to start trucking, because you're not like you're gone for 3 or 4 weeks at a time. You can still be home on the weekend and go out and make your money during the week, doing some regional stuff. So I still think even today, January 20th, 2022, I still think trucking is an amazing career if you're willing to come out here, put in the work, and take it serious. Now, the guys that don't do well in trucking are the guys that don't take it serious, because it's very serious. You're operating heavy equipment amongst the public. It's not like you're operating a bulldozer on a closed construction site. You're operating heavy machinery on a public road. So keep that in mind. It is serious. But anyway, guys, that's it for today. Thanks for watching the weekly recap, and take care of each other out there. Check out that description down below for all my other stuff. I got another channel, Truck with Diabetes. I got merch tent, which is t-shirts, pants, stuff like that, but my logos and stuff, my funny sayings on them, hashtag damn it boys and whatnot. Go check that out if you could. Come join me for a live show. I'd much appreciate that. If you made it this far, hit the thumbs up. Take care of each other out there. Till later. Bye.
Marge shirt is a classic, Marge. Just like keep on trucking. As if I would ever want to stop trucking.